Good evening, everybody. It is Sunday, February 22nd of 2026. Hard to believe that it's 2026 already, and we're 2 months almost done with the second month, going into March of this year. It's going to go by so fast. So many things are going on. We've taken a break from the community talk over the holidays. During the winter, been doing some traveling. Doing research for some things we're going to be getting done here with the community talk. So I just want to welcome those of you who are going to be watching this over the next week in preparation for our next episode. But this week's episode is pretty exciting. I put it out there ahead of time for you to watch. I'm going to be promoting and talking about what ICE, this controversy we have right now with ICE. People are thinking that we have a government shutdown because of ICE, which we don't. But we're going to talk about that. But first, we'll read from our favorite book, right? One of the best passages is by George Bernard Shaw. George Bernard Shaw said this: "People are always blaming their circumstances for what they are. I don't believe in circumstances. The people who get on in this world are the people who get up and look for the circumstances that they want. And if they can't find them, they make them." That's a novel idea, isn't it? Make your own set of circumstances. Don't let them be dictated by others. The spirit of self-help, and this is by Samuel Smiles. The spirit of self-help is the root of all genuine growth in the individual and exhibited in the lives of many. It constitutes the true source of national vigor and strength. And then the last, because we always do three, the last one is by Dennis Waitley. Pretty short on this one, but very powerful if you think about this, because I've said it many, many times. The real risk is doing nothing. I'm going to say that one more time. The real risk is in doing nothing. So why did I read those particular passages? As you know, for those of you who watched my show, I always read those because they're going to have something to do with what we're talking about. So thank you all for watching tonight. It's a Sunday night. Bring me into your home or wherever you are. If you're on the road, if you're in a hotel, like I have been on a lot of Sunday nights lately because of my job. I just thank you for allowing me to talk to you a little bit about this. So we're going to talk a little bit about this ICE controversy. First of all, the government isn't shut down because of ICE. It's not why we have a shutdown. You'll hear a lot of people talk about it. You'll hear politicians talk about it, whether they're Democrats, certain Republicans. It's not true. ICE is fully funded and fully gone because it was voted on earlier in that big, beautiful bill that was put forward by the federal government. So the other things that it didn't cover, that bill didn't cover, were things like CBP, HSI, some other things that they do in Homeland Security, right? It's the Homeland Security and HHS things that won't be covered, that the government is being shut down for. And it's not a government shutdown. The rest of us are funded. It was all fixed, right? So this government shutdown is going to be over that. For those particular jobs, people like TSA, HSI people, and it's dumb. It's just a dumb thing. Our government should never be shut down. We pay our taxes so our government runs functionally. I owned a business for many, many years successfully. If I ran my business the way our government runs, I wouldn't have been in business very long, and neither would any of you who own businesses. None of us would. If we ran our own households, you don't have to own a business. Run your own household the way our government runs itself. We wouldn't be in business very long. Wouldn't have a house very long, I guarantee it. So what is all this ICE controversy? First of all, ICE is responsible to maintain that people who come into this country illegally, and I'll say it, it's illegal for them to do that. People can't just walk into our country. We can't go to any other country and just walk in. We have to have papers. You have to have a passport. You have to have all these things to get into the country. So if we were in another country and we got found we were in there illegally, they'd boot us out or put us in prison, period. Two things, right? I've been to many other countries in my military career or just traveling. Heck, I just traveled down to the Virgin Islands with my wife not long ago for vacation. I had to have my passport, right? So ICE is responsible for that. Now, the things that ICE has done as an agency, people, the controversy, I'm not going to get into specifics of what an agency does. I don't run that agency. I've run businesses and things like that, but I don't run that agency. How they do that, I'll never second guess law enforcement and the things that they do. They run their agency the way they run their agency. But let me assure you, they have complete authority to detain someone. And they have the same probable cause standards that I do in law enforcement. Same probable cause standards to detain and even arrest based on probable cause. Okay, so getting all that out of the way, let's get into what does a local sheriff, and we're going to get people watching this show. I get them there's people in Florida, Ohio, out west, everywhere up in New England that watches this show throughout this week. So, what does a local sheriff, and sheriffs in every state have similar responsibilities, right? I live here in Virginia. We're a commonwealth. But the sheriff in a county in Virginia is the ultimate authority for in law enforcement. Now, the state's attorney is responsible and the ultimate authority when it comes to the judicial part of law enforcement. And that's where it gets a little dicey, right? Like DOJ says they're the attorney general is the ultimate law enforcement. But really, it's the president of the United States, right? So, but the sheriff kind of does that in our county. So it's very important that people understand the authority that a sheriff has. So when ICE, right, because right now in Virginia, for instance, we have a Republican governor that was just elected, and she's trying to make sure that law enforcement doesn't cooperate with ICE at all. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of cooperation within law enforcement, especially when something happens and you know that somebody's conducting illegal acts. Good, bad, or indifferent. I'm just telling you, a sheriff has a responsibility to the Constitution first and foremost, right? To the Constitution, to uphold the Constitution. Both of the United States and the Commonwealth of Virginia. And once in a while, I'm going to say state when it comes to Virginia, because Virginia is part of the United States, part of the republic that we have. We are not a democracy, and I'm not going to get in. That's actually a show I'm going to do in a couple of weeks. Talk about the difference of republic and democracy. We've gotten into that before. But the sheriff has a huge responsibility to do that. So we have a sheriff's department here in Virginia, for instance, in Greene County. Sheriff Steve Smith, great guy, wonderful sheriff, respected by his community. He sent his staff, and he went to school to learn through the U.S. Homeland Security, to learn about what ICE is and what it does, and how they can work with an ICE detainer in their local level, right? If someone's arrested or an illegal immigrant is arrested, put in jail, what it means, how they can do that, and then get a hold of ICE to have them come picked up and taken to their facilities. It's something that happens every day. My county in Ohio did it. We did it in the police department that I was with. It's something that's been going on for 100 years, right? Because who better, right, than a local sheriff or police chief, but a local sheriff who knows his community, knows the people, knows where those communities are at, right? I mean, let's face it. The realities are, if someone's an illegal into the country, they have a tendency to hang out with other people who are illegal in the country. There's safety in numbers, they feel, right? We all do that. It's a human condition. I don't want to hear from you if you're telling me, well, that's a racist thing to say. It's not. It's just a human condition. I do it. You do it. We all do it. We hang out with people who like us. We hang out with people who understand us. Right? It's just the way it is. So, but normally it's your sheriff who knows where those communities are, knows where those people are. So they may have a tendency to work better with ICE to help when it comes to finding that. Now, let's talk about what are the benefits of a local sheriff working with ICE for a community. Why would that be beneficial? Why would you want them to? Well, let's talk about that. Or not. I mean, if your community tells your sheriff, we don't want you to do it, vote for a sheriff that doesn't. If you do, vote for a sheriff that will. Right? It's that simple. And it gets into, if your current sheriff isn't doing those things, help elect one that will. You be a voice for that particular person running for that office to do that. That's how you make change, not just tell your friends or post something on social media, right? Help that person get elected, volunteer, go knock doors, go make phone calls for them, go work a poll for them. Help that person get elected. Get off your butt, right? So how about ICE, CBP, HSI? Now, HSI, they have agents, federal agents that work with those 3-letter agencies as well, right? Just the way it works. So those 3-letter agencies, they're the people that help keep us safe within our borders. It's within our borders. So those are the things that we want to help keep in our communities, because what they're talking about is coming after the people who have committed a crime. What does a sheriff get involved with? If you've committed a crime in a county, and you have a sheriff who is supportive of the effort to, if there's a detainer or a warrant for someone, number one, if there's a warrant for someone, they are constitutionally bound to serve that warrant and arrest that person and hand them to whatever jurisdictional court has put out that warrant. They are duty bound to do that. If they don't, they are negligent in that duty. Could face some consequences. So let's just say that your sheriff's working for them. What does that do? Well, it helps stop the people who are committing fraud. It's fraudulent to come into our country and ask for benefits, fill out paperwork that says you're a citizen, you just lied, you committed fraud. So it's a crime. So do you want to put someone, we have enough people in jails. We have no problem filling our jails, right? I've been doing this since 1983. I've never known a jail not to be at capacity. I'll just tell you, not to be. So now, with the last 4 years of when Biden was in office, we had 15, 20 million illegal immigrants come into the country. You don't think a few of them are going to take up space in a jail? We had enough people filling space in jail. Good, bad, or indifferent. I'm not here to again, there's going to be an episode. We're going to talk about that as well. But, so you're talking about fraud. We are spending, people have heard about the Minnesota fraud, the Maine fraud, the California fraud. There's fraud everywhere. Fraud here in Virginia. Grasp my pearls, there's fraud in Virginia. Yes, there is. There's fraud back in Ohio, where I'm from. But why are we inviting people to come and commit fraud into our country? I just don't get that. I don't understand. But it'll help reduce fraud. Jobs in the country. And I don't want to hear somebody telling me, well, they're going to fill jobs that people don't want to do. There's plenty of people who want to drive trucks. We have plenty of illegal aliens driving trucks. The proof is, look at the people who've been in the national headlines that have killed innocent victims in traffic accidents. These truck drivers that have done that. So, again, I don't want to hear that. Clutch your pearls. Don't watch my show. I don't want to hear from you. I don't care. I'm giving you my opinion. So, but it will reduce fraud. It will up the ability for us and American citizens to find jobs. I see it here on Facebook all the time. Somebody posting in a local chat somewhere. hey, I'm looking for a job, or my son needs a job, my daughter needs a job, or hey, I'm down on my luck, I need another job. Well, it's hard to do that. We're building data centers here in Virginia. I'll give you a prime example. We're building data centers here in Virginia. Seems to be like every state's building them, right? But we're building data centers here. I have been to the job sites of where these data centers are being built, and I have seen and spoken to people who are illegal in this country doing the job on those data center sites. Happens all the time. Good paying jobs. We have now how much they're paying an illegal immigrant to be here. I don't know, right? Probably it's advantageous to that business. That business should be fined for doing that, and there are laws against it. Should be fined for them as well. But and it happens every day. Just in my neighborhood, they were putting in new asphalt. Guess what? The asphalt company that was doing it had illegal aliens working on those road crews. Illegal aliens doing that. Now, does that mean there's no American citizens that could have taken those jobs? There are thousands that could have used those jobs. So what's the advantage of a business hiring an illegal for? Why would they do that then if there's plenty of citizens wanting those jobs? Money. Because they're going to pay them less. Driving down the cost of wages. And guys, whether you like it or not, that's what happens. Right? That's what happens. Medical bills. How many of you have gone to your local hospital ER? How many of you have gone to your local hospital ER and you've seen the illegal aliens, illegal immigrants, whatever you want to call, say that they're illegal. They don't go to a doctor. They get sick. They're told by these NGOs when they came into our country, go to the ER, local ER. They'll fix you because it's free to you. So free medical to them. Guess who pays for that? We do. Somebody's got to pay for it. Money doesn't fall from the sky, and the government, they say, well, the government will just print more. Yeah, but the government's got to account for that, which is our tax dollars, which means when they can't pay for it, guess what they're doing? They're raising your taxes. Here in Spotsylvania County in Virginia, prime example. Our county, they didn't raise our taxes. You know what they said? Our board of supervisors raised everybody's price of their home values, which means there's more tax money coming in. Either way, we're paying more in our taxes. A lot more to cover these costs. Because the costs are going through the roof. Because the state, right? The state of Virginia, the Commonwealth of Virginia, the federal government, they're all making local governments more responsible now. Why is everything going up at your local level? Because local governments have to fork out the money now. States aren't helping. There's no free money to be given from the state anymore. They're wanting to tell the local governments what to do, but they're not giving them the money to do it. Guess who's paying for that? We are. We are. So a sheriff has a constitutional duty to act on warrants if there's a warrant for anyone, whether they're legal or illegal. So why wouldn't you, just because someone's illegal, does that give them free reign to say, well, there's a warrant, federal warrant for their arrest. We're not going to serve it though. We're not going to support that. Well, wait a minute. You're asking us to break the law? Seriously? You want that sheriff to break the law? It's ludicrous, that kind of thought to me. So, and again, you're welcome to post a comment on here. What's your thought? If you don't think what I'm saying is right, post it on here. We'll address it. We'll talk about it. I can read them as they come up. And I appreciate it. Mr. Allers, thank you. Natalie, it's good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Donna, thanks for watching. All of you, thanks for watching. We're going to have several thousand viewers on this by the end of the week, so thank you all wherever you're at. Without you, I wouldn't be doing this. So what can a sheriff do, right? Well, sheriff, number one, he can apprehend someone, an illegal immigrant, and he can hold that person and get a hold of ICE and say, hey, do you have a detainer for this person? Do you have a warrant for this person? Now, if there isn't, guess what? Doesn't mean that that person can't be held liable and responsible for being illegal. In my opinion, The Constitution is clear, and the sheriff has to follow the Constitution. Nothing wrong with that sheriff saying, hey, Mr. ICE agent, I know you don't have a warrant for this guy or a detainer because you didn't even know he was in our country, but this person or woman is in our country and they have no paper. They can't prove they're a citizen. What do you want me to do with them? That's all. It's no different than you get pulled over, you have no identification on you because you're required by law to provide identification to a law enforcement officer so that they can identify you in whatever state you're in. Check with your own local law enforcement. But where I've been in office or authority in a law enforcement agency, it's always been, if you don't have ID that's presentable, or I can't verify who you are when I'm talking to you, I can detain you until you can prove to me who you are, which means you're going to jail till you prove to me who you are. You can say, I ain't telling you who I am for all I want to. People are finding out all over. A law enforcement officer has the right to find who you are, has the authority to ask who you are based on, right, if he believes a crime's being committed or has been committed. And guess what? Being here illegally is. So he has the right to do that and to establish that. He has a right and a duty to report to the agencies, those three-letter agencies, to say, hey, here's who we've pulled over, here's these things, here's where maybe we have a particular business that's been hiring a lot of illegals, here's where they are, here's who they are. They have a duty for that. Surveillance. Surveillance has national security consequences. And this is what I've done in most of my career, but you're talking about national security. If someone's here illegally, whether they have, I don't care what country they're from, but if they have nefarious reasons for being here, we don't know where millions of people who are wanting to be terrorists or wanting to do harm to our country or persons, we don't know where they're all at. But guess what? Your local sheriff probably does. And he's probably conducted surveillance on them because there might be something that brought their attention to that local law enforcement agency. So they probably know. So he has a duty to make sure that he has surveillance on these people that he knows not to be from this country. And is not here as a citizen because they don't have a visa, they don't have here for education. They're here illegally. So, and that's a big thing because I'm here to tell you, we've been very lucky that we haven't been hit harder with terroristic acts. Very lucky. It's going to happen in our country again somewhere, and it's going to happen soon. Just based on my experience, my education, and my skills that I have learned over a very long career. So it's our local sheriffs that can help us with that, and police chiefs. What does this do? It saves services for the U.S. citizens. I talked about that. That's going to help save us money. There's going to be money in programs to pay for staff and facilities. The federal government has money available for local sheriff's departments who's being hit hard on budgets right now with, when we had an affordability crisis. I don't believe we have one now, but when we had one, but there's money available for a sheriff to get educated, send his 8 deputies to be educated so that they can then function and be deputized through those agencies to carry out those acts so that they can find an illegal immigrant. And what that does is it helps that sheriff build up relationships with these federal and state agencies so that when all of a sudden locally things happen, here's the best example I can give you. What happened just in Arizona where that person was kidnapped, or, she's been disappeared. Miss Guthrie, who no one knows what happened. Don't know whether she was kidnapped. Don't know whether she's been murdered. And I have no idea. And I'm not trying to suggest anything. I'm just saying, here are the facts that we know. She's missing. We know that the local sheriff was on it for a long time, but nothing happened. The FBI didn't get involved till later because was there a good working relationship between that local sheriff and the FBI? Probably not. So therefore, that's where they get involved. Because you didn't have a good working relationship with federal agencies. So try to encourage that with your local sheriff, to have a good working relationship with the state and federal authorities. It only helps us. It only helps us. It's like free labor. Go get it. You have no problem. The lefties have no problem with free labor if it's an illegal immigrant, right? Oh, wow, it helps everybody. No, it doesn't. It's called slavery. All right, we have our federal government tax dollars paying them, and they're willing to come in and help us. Why not get that, right? Why not? So we need to have good working relationships and not an adversarial one. And I see too much adversarial things going on right now. Minnesota being a good example. So we want everyone to be involved, and you can be involved. If you see something, say something. Call your local sheriff. If you know you've got a local sheriff that's not doing the things the way you like, help him get unelected. That's about the only way you're going to get a sheriff out of there anyway, and do the things that you know is what you believe to be right. Help unelect them. Elect a new one. Participate. Just like I read, make your own circumstance, right? You create it. Speaking of which, how to do that. All right, I'm going to talk real quick for my local people. I see we have people from all over, not in Spotsylvania County here in Virginia, just here watching, but people all over. But for those watching tonight that are here, and those who are going to be watching here in a little while or throughout the week till the next episode. Next Saturday, I won't get a chance to speak to you again, but next Saturday we have a mass meeting for the Spotsylvania County Republican Committee here locally. And that mass meeting helps elect the local board committee chairperson, some local people who want to be nominated by their Republican Party. That meeting is happening next Saturday at 10 o'clock at the American Legion Hall in Brock Road here in Spotsylvania and Spotsylvania County. I highly, highly encourage you. You don't have to be a member of the Republican Party local committee to go cast a vote for who you believe should represent you as if you're a Republican. Now, if you're not a Republican, you can't go. Number one, you don't need to go. But if you're an independent, you want to go, you just want to see how one of those are done. I encourage you to go. Even if you don't want to participate in electing the local people there, go and see how that's done. You really need to understand how these things work. Because these mass meetings have now been codified by our legislator of how you're going to get people elected into office. So I encourage you to go. So it's this Saturday, February 28th. Get online. You can look at the website of the local Spotsylvania County Republican Committee, and you can find out where it is and how to get there. That's how you're going to be able to dictate whether or not your locality, and let me tell you, I've said this 100 times on this show in my whole life in private. You have to do something just besides vote. You have to get out and do something just besides vote. If you don't have time to help a candidate get elected, or something that's coming up, we here in Virginia, we have redistricting coming up on the ballot. People need to get out and vote for that, against that. Get out and vote against that. But you need to get out off the couch. Don't create your own or don't let others create your own circumstance. You create your own circumstance. Do something. Don't do nothing. You'll regret it. People all over are regretting last November already. Go out and make things different. Go out and make things better. So with that, I want to thank you for watching tonight. Next week's episode is going to be phenomenal. Make sure you tune in. Don't just watch next week. Tell somebody else about it. Tell them to come and watch. So, they're right, Mike. The only place where ID isn't mandated is at the polls, which is ridiculous. I believe in voter ID, which our government is getting ready to vote on, right? Hopefully they do. if you can't prove you're a citizen, I just don't think you should vote. That's my opinion. But, and I'm entitled to that because I serve my country proud and honorably, and that's my opinion. So with that, thank you all. God bless. We'll see you all very, very soon. Get out in your community, be a part, and you get out and talk in your community. Thank you.